flow that's going to switch a bit more north, a bit more of a north component into it, and swing it around from that south, still from the east direction, but more of a typical trade wind pattern setting up.
Yeah, you know, we came to the beach, got to the beach this morning, it was completely glassy. Now I'm just starting to see our flags start to switch around to more of a northeasterly direction, which is a very good sign. Also looking over to the West Maui Mountains, seeing that little bit of icing on the cake over there, that the sprinkling of clouds over the top of the green mountains over there, the West Maui's, which is a very good sign. That's a typical trade wind pattern. You see the clouds gathering over the West Maui's. So with clear skies and that little bit of cloud sprinkling, it looks like we could possibly get a little bit of a breeze this afternoon, but the next few days looking quite a bit better.
Yeah, and especially on this island, as we've kind of alluded to a few times earlier in the broadcast, just because of the way the island is set up. Again, this is the Valley Island, and that really the term comes from the valley that's in between Haleakala and the West Maui's. The skies, you said, as a typical trade wind pattern, has clouds building up on the West Maui's. We see a little bit of that this morning, but what really happens here and what kind of makes Maui sort of the windier of the islands in the Hawaiian island chain is because of that valley that is in between Haleakala and the West Maui's. As the trades kind of hit Haleakala and split around it, it actually kind of wraps around Haleakala and accelerates through the valley. And it kind of creates a wind machine in the center. It seems like even if there's supposed to be no wind for the day, you can find some kind of wind someplace. This island in general just is a factory for wind, and as it kind of goes to more of that typical trade wind pattern, it kind of the flow comes in, slams into Haleakala, and then accelerates around and through that valley in between, which gives us that typical pattern of wind coming in that side offshore here at Hokipa.
Yeah, so looking at our forecast models last night, it wasn't calling for a lot of wind today, but just those Kona winds swinging around to that more northeasterly direction. As soon as we get that little bit of flow, as you said, Ben, there is a good chance that it can get windy. This is the first place basically to get windy on the island, so we are going to probably be on standby. We'll wait for official word from our contest directors exactly what the plan is going to be for today, but there has been some buzz around the beach that we may go into a holding pattern and wait for better conditions this afternoon.
Yeah, and as you said, the forecast does look pretty good for actually the remainder of the holding period starting today, and there's really no reason to sort of call off an entire day at this point, as we are, as we said earlier, on day 6. We do have a few days left, but we do need a few days to complete the contest, so even if we can get out just for a couple hours today and later portions of the day, it would go a long ways in making sure that we get to be able to finish this off in just fantastic, stellar conditions.
Exactly. So we will wait to hear word from our contest directors exactly what the plan will be for today here on day 6 of the Hokipa Kite Surf Pro Maui. We're going to take a short break. We actually caught up with one of the legends and founders of the sport. So we're going to take a quick look at that, and we will be back here with you shortly on day 6 of the Hokipa Kite Surf Pro. Stay tuned.
Well, the Hokipa, that spot was basically discovered in the early 80s. The first windsurfing contest we had here was the Maui Grand Prix in 1981, the second professional windsurfing event ever. So I came over from Oahu and drove out here, and we had this killer spot. Mike Waltz basically discovered it, and from that time it slowly became more and more the mecca for high performance wave sailing for windsurfing. And obviously we had contests here over the years, the Maui Grand Prix and the Aloha Classic and the Marui O'Neill, which were basically a few of the biggest events ever in windsurfing that went for a long time, over a decade. And so that pretty much made this the spot, the proving grounds that all the professional windsurfers from around the world dreamed of coming here. They trained here. It became the photo shoot spot and still is the main photo shoot spot for windsurfers around the world for most of the companies. Kite surfing, we started coming here and launching here at Hokipa in 1998, and 1999 we do our downwinders down the coast when kite surfing was a one-way trip, and that pretty quickly grew into the deal where there's surfers here, there's windsurfers here, there were kiters here, and being the only decent wave on the whole North Shore in terms of real public access and stuff, it got kind of crowded, and the kiters kind of got moved down to lanes, and that became the official Ho'okipa kiting spot, just to make it a little less dangerous out here, mixing all three sports. But it's still, you know, a spot where everyone wants to ride. We had the Red Bull King of the Air here every year for several years, and it was the one time a year that there was an opportunity to ride. But that was more about jumping than wave riding. And clearly, as the sport of kite surfing has evolved the last few years, and wave riding has become a real dynamic aspect of the sport with respectable wave riding, you know, and with a tour now being formed around the world, Ho'okipa is back on the map as being a viable, you know, kite surfing wave spot. Well, for Nash as a brand, you know, we're based here on Maui. We started here a long time ago when dinosaurs roamed the earth, it seems. As time is moving on, you know, started in windsurfing, and then obviously we were at least one of the first big companies to venture into kite surfing and really try to evolve the equipment into something that was super functional with our first successful commercial line in 2000. And all of our stuff has been developed here. You know, the good thing about Maui is it's a 12-month-a-year wind and wave cycle, and we have a lot of different conditions in a very small area. It's important that we still test our stuff out of Maui, because Maui's so perfect, you know, you could design yourself in a niche. So we're really careful to have international riders and testers to get our stuff out of this Maui little bubble. But man, it's a great place to live, a really good place to test. You can be on the water, even with a full work day. You know, you can be on the water as much as you really need to be. So for us as a brand, it's fantastic. You know, we really embrace our Hawaiian roots, and that's kind of reflected in all of our gear, both graphically and functionally. And for us, it's, you know, we try to support all the sports we're in. You know, we're still really involved with windsurfing, even though it may not be the biggest sport in the world anymore. Kite surfing is still really important to us, and we're you know, very committed in every aspect, whether it be team riders, marketing, and for sure having a broad range of product. And then of course stand-up paddling is very important to us as well, and right now our biggest business. But we're really trying to refocus a lot in kiting, because it seems like there's a global resurgence. You know, there was that first explosion of kite surfing, and it kind of dwindled down, and now it seems like there's a whole new group of people getting into it around the world. It's so much more accessible than it used to be. It's safer than it used to be. The kites are so much better. You don't need a lot of equipment anymore. You can have one board, one or two kites, and be set. And that appeal is making the sport grow again, which is really cool. And personally, I'm still totally into it. I'm still old school, out there jumping and using my straps most of the time, but loving it just like I did, you know, more than 10 years ago in the beginning. And for us, it's great to have the KSP here, you know, to bring the showcase for kiting back to Maui. It's been a long time since the King of the Air, which was really the big focused event for the sport. So I hope there's some conditions that can, you know, show people the competitive potential that Maui has with the best kite surfers in the world.
Always great to hear from the legend that is Robbie Nash. Saw some great action of him there on that clip, and yeah, you know, just an amazing waterman, Robbie. I actually just saw him. We just saw him paddle out here, going for a session this morning on his stand-up paddle. So still getting plenty of time out here in the water, and you know, enjoying life on Maui.
Yeah, both of us actually have had the honor to know Robbie for quite an extended period of time, and it's pretty remarkable here on his home turf, not necessarily where he grew up, but definitely where he resides and calls home now. And talking specifically about Ho'okipa and sort of his experience and relationship with this break, again, sort of going over how it sort of progressed through the stages of windsurfing and surfing and kiteboarding, kind of, you know, the first times that people were really kiteboarding at all in Maui, most of them were launching out of this park and going downwind to more towards town. But it's pretty cool to hear sort of the inside scoop from people who have been there since the beginning. And again, Ho'okipa is kind of like Robbie's home court. And if you ever get a chance to watch Robbie, whether it be kiteboarding or windsurfing or surfing or stand-up paddling out here on this break, it's a sight to see, that's for sure. The guy is ripping, has been for decades at this point.
Yeah, it's amazing the amount of history Robbie has out here. It's an absolute privilege to watch him on any kind of craft out here riding waves.
Yeah, exactly. And again, you know, we've as we try to do with most events that we go to, Sky, we try to catch up with not only people who are from the area that we find ourselves in for the competition, but also people who are in their own right sort of legends of the area. And we've had the opportunity so far on this trip, Sky, to catch up with not only local legends but global legends, icons of the sport, and get their perspective on exactly, you know, the state of kite surfing in general. I know it's been gaining some pretty serious popularity over the last few years. It's kind of always been around, as we heard from Pete Cabrina the other day, of the sort of starting on surfboards and kind of circling back around to it, that simplistic nature of the sport. And again, listening to Robbie about the progression of, you know, how kiteboarding kind of went through some ups and downs based on its forefront here on this island, with some events that were happening now a few years ago in sort of the mid 2000s here at Ho'okipa, and being able to bring an event back here, and the importance of sort of putting Maui and kiteboarding and kite surfing in general kind of back in that limelight, in that premier position, is a great thing. And it's something that I know Robbie and pretty much everyone in the industry sort of wants to convey to everyone else about this particular island and kite surfing in general.
Yeah, it's awesome, and you know, to have the support of guys, legends like Pete and Robbie is just amazing, and we're all stoked to be here. If you're just joining us, it is day 6 here of the Ho'okipa Kite Surf Pro Maui, and we just got official word during the break from our contest directors that we are actually going to put this thing on hold until noon today, Ben. So the next call will be at 12 p.m. And again, we're just waiting around for some wind. We do have a little bit of a northerly flow. We talked a little bit earlier about when that flow does start wrapping around Haleakala, anything can happen. It could get windy this afternoon. Things are looking a little bit better than they have the last few days, so hopefully we're going to get this competition underway. If not today, then it looks like definitely tomorrow.
Yeah, and Maui's the kind of place where kind of around that 11 a.m. hour, between 11 and noon, if something's going to happen significantly, you'll start to see it show up by then. There's some times when the wind will get stronger as the afternoon progresses, but by that 11 or 12 hour, you can get a good glimpse of what the day is probably going to bring. So that'll be the next great opportunity for everyone to sort of gather and check out what the conditions we have and what it looks like out on the water. Again, waves are aplenty out there. That's not the concern today, or pretty much for the remainder of the holding period. We're just waiting for that trade pattern to show up, and hopefully it's going to be this afternoon.
Yep, so we'll get all the riders down here at Ho'okipa back at 12 p.m. For a riders meeting. We'll be streaming that live here on kspworldtour.com, so be sure to check back here at 12 p.m. local Maui time, and hopefully we will have some competition getting underway this afternoon. So for now, I'm Sky Solbach.
Ben Meyer, have a great rest of the morning, and we'll see you in a few hours. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 12 p.m. update here at day 6 of the 2012 Hokipa Kite Surf Pro. As you can probably see, our hair is starting to move around a little bit. The flags are flying, the wind is building, and hopefully this afternoon we'll be able to get this thing off and underway. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 12 p.m. update here at day 6 of the 2012 Hokipa Kite Surf Pro. As you can probably see, our hair is starting to move around a little bit. The flags are flying, the wind is building, and hopefully this afternoon we'll be able to get this thing off and underway. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 12 p.m. update here at day 6 of the 2012 Hokipa Kite Surf Pro. As you can probably see, our hair is starting to move around a little bit. The flags are flying, the wind is building, and hopefully this afternoon we'll be able to get this thing off and underway. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 12 p.m. update here at day 6 of the 2012 Hokipa Kite Surf Pro. As you can probably see, our hair is starting to move around a little bit. The flags are flying, the wind is building, and hopefully this afternoon we'll be able to get this thing off and underway. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 12 p.m. update here at day 6 of the 2012 Hokipa Kite Surf Pro. As you can probably see, our hair is starting to move around a little bit. The flags are flying, the wind is building, and hopefully this afternoon we'll be able to get this thing off and underway. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 12 p.m. update here at day Good afternoon, everybody. This is your 1 p.m. update here on day 6 of the 2012 Ho'okipa Kite Surf Pro. We were at about the same juncture that we found ourselves about 1 hour ago, Sky. It's windy. We got some wind dummies out there catching some waves. It looks like we're almost there, but just not quite yet.
Yeah, it's just right on the threshold right now of just not quite being windy enough. We do have whitecaps out there in the water. As you said, Ben, 2 riders out there at the moment. Looks like Tomoko Okazaki and Kiahi de Aboides out there on pretty big kites at the moment. Just kind of playing wind dummy, trying to see if they can actually stay upwind enough into the competition zone. They are catching some waves, but it's just on the border, not quite contestable yet. So we are going to continue into this holding pattern, Ben.
Yeah, and the circus is underway. The judges are underneath the tents. They are waiting. They're ready and waiting to get this contest underway. People are running around the beach, getting whipped into a frenzy, waiting to get this thing out of control and underway, Sky.
Yeah, we're getting ready to throw some gasoline on the fire here, Ben, this afternoon. We just need a little bit more wind to get this thing underway. So we just heard from our contest director and head judge. They are going to continue to be in a holding pattern here. So the next possible start will be just a half hour from now at 1:30.
Yeah, and again, as we move into the afternoon hours, we anticipate the wind speed to increase as the afternoon wears on. Above us right now, a little bit of a cloud cover. Hopefully that moves on a little bit to kind of help out that little thermal effect that we saw this morning, pushing in with that trade pattern behind it, pushing onshore wind a bit stronger speeds, and anticipating that to pick up for the afternoon. So sort of decreasing the amount of time that it's going to be between calls, between updates for the riders. And again, as you said, Sky, first possible start just under a half an hour from now. And what we plan to do is come back with you again live at that 1:30 hour, and either have the next update or be live with action here from the first rounds of the event here.
Yeah, hopefully next time we're speaking to you, we will be live and getting heats underway. Really clean surf conditions out here behind us at Ho'okipa right now. The wind is filling in and the conditions are still really clean. So if we just get a few more knots, it's going to be some spectacular action out here at Ho'okipa.
Exactly. So for Ben Meyer, Sky Solbach, see you in a half an hour, and hopefully we'll be coming at you with some hot action here from day 6, 2012, Ho'okipa Kite Surf Pro. You bring it in.
Alright, well, it seems to get a little better out there, so we're going to continue to be on hold. We'll have a next possible start for wild card number 1 at 2 o'clock. Announcements will be 15 minutes.
This is your 1:30 update here from day 6 of the Hokipa Kite Surf Pro Maui 2012. Well, we do have some riders out there on the water, Ben, and some of them are making it work, but it's still a little bit on the edge. The sun's sort of in and out from the clouds, and we'll get sort of moments where the wind fills in. It looks like we're going to be game on, and then it'll sort of back off again. So it's just still on the margins, unfortunately.
Yeah, again, we are on half-an-hour calls, so we're going to be bringing action to you as soon as humanly possible here. Again, we're going to try to keep it on the schedule to where next time you see us, either we'll be standing here, talking heads, you know, rapping back and forth as we have been so far this morning, or we'll be coming straight to you with live action of those first wildcard heats here from the event.
Exactly, and you know, conditions out there, wave conditions, still looking absolutely amazing at the moment, and a few more knots to win, and we will get this thing underway. So again, please tune back in at 2 p.m. local time here in Maui, and hopefully we will be coming to you with live action and getting those wildcard heats underway, and then straight into men's round 1 here at the Hokipa Kite Surf Pro Maui. So we will see you back here at 2 p.m. This is your 2 p.m. update here from Hokipa Beach Park. We are getting underway. It is 2 p.m. here, and we've got some riders out on the water. Coming up first, Ben, we're going to have the local wildcard heat out there. We're going to have 2 men's wildcard heats, followed by 1 women's wildcard heats. These guys are looking for a spot in the main competition. This man here on your screen, Top Hat, coming from Oahu, up in this first men's wildcard heat. And I believe that horn we heard there in the background is the
That's it.
green flag.
We're underway. Sky, good to be with you here in the commentary booth for the culmination of the 2012 KSP World Tour here at the 2012 Ho'okipa Kite Surf Pro. We are underway with the local wildcard heats. As you said, Sky, feels good to get that horn, hear that horn sound out there.
It certainly does. I'm fired up, as we all are here, to get this thing underway. Some great waves rolling through here at Ho'okipa. Here we go, first blood. This looks like Christopher Armitage here in this men's wildcard heat. Actually, I'm going to take that back. That looks like Ayrton Paglino there, perhaps on one of the lower peaks there.
Yeah.
So we will try to here focus in on our wildcards. This looks like perhaps Garfield King, if I'm not mistaken. And if you're just joining us, this is day 6.
Yeah, I don't think that's Garfield. I think actually they're trying to clear riders from the water now. So those might be guys the last warm-ups happening out there. But this for sure looks like someone in our first heat here, being Top Hat going across your screen there.
Hard to mistake. Top Hat there, of course, always out there with his hat on. And Top Hat's been around for a long time, coming from Oahu. I remember riding with Top Hat probably, 10 years ago when I kind of first got into the sport. He's been kind of always there, somewhere in the background. And yeah, great to have him here at the Ho'okipa Kite Surf Pro. He's been riding waves for a very long time, and great surfer, and coming in and taking a stab at the KSP here and trying to secure his spot in the main competition.
Yeah, again, if you are just joining us, we are in the first heat being run of the day. We do have 2 wildcard heats for the men, 1 for the women. Heat number 1 here, I believe right now looking out in the white, Christopher Armitage, giving a pass on that wave. Oh, they're back live here, action. Great conditions here at Ho'okipa. You see him not be able to quite hold that one together. He's up against Tiago Candela in the green, Top Hat in the blue, Gar King in the red. Here in this first heat of the men's wildcard to play themselves into the main event.
So basically how this is going to work, there we have a rider who's not actually in this heat, but the way that this is going to work, we're going to run 2 men's wildcard heats here. Each one of them have 4 men in the heats, and there's going to be 3 slots for wildcards entering this event. So basically the top 3 heat scores of these 2 heats will place these men into the main bracket of competition. And if all things go well and this breeze holds strong, as we think it will, into the afternoon and evening hours, we will finish up with these wildcard heats and go straight into action, straight into men's round 1, excuse me.
Ren's Mound 1?
That's right, Ben. Ren's Mound 1.
Thanks for sticking with us today. This is our first day in the commentator booth, so we're gonna work out the rest there here in Ren's Mound 1.
We're shaking out the cobwebs, getting things rolling here, and yeah, as you can see out there, some just beautiful conditions on offer out here. Really smooth faces. The wind sort of beautiful.
This looks like Tiago there on a wave, not able quite to hold it together after that sick backside hack there, but yeah, Sky, just fantastic conditions to get this thing underway. Local guys completely stoked, frothing at the mouth to get out there and have this world-class break at Ho'okipa all to themselves for their heat.
Yeah, so Tiago there, Tiago Candelot in the green jersey, who we just saw with a beautiful backside hack. Living here in Maui, I've been riding with him quite a bit in the past couple of years. Originally from Brazil, he's now made Maui his home. And when he heard about that there was going to be a contest here at Ho'okipa, he was one of the first people to approach me and couldn't wait to get in and really wanted to get one of those local wildcard spots. And we're certainly stoked to have him. He's kind of a regular out here at lanes in Ho'okipa. See him out here surfing all the time and of course kiting, and very stoked to have him up here in this first men's wildcard heat.
It's like first scores just dropping out there. Looks like Tiago, don't know if that was the last wave that we just saw on there scored, but on top of the 5.67, Top Hat on the board as well, as we see scores updating. Garfield King throwing down a 4, Top Hat with a 1.67 as we go to live action on the screen.
So here we go. This looks like Tiago once again here on his backhand. Let's see what this thing has to offer. Beautiful bit of wall. Snaps that one up onto the lip, and he's able to hold on. And let's see what he can do with this end section. One more little turn there. Hook under the lip. So that's going to be a great backup score there for Tiago.
Switching over to Top Hat. Looked like he's trying to unhook and tuck in perhaps there, but just wasn't quite in the right position as he turns around and heads back out.
Yeah, Top Hat. Typically, I think riding unhooked most of the time. Most
Absolutely.
riders, looks like Garfield King there, maybe dropped his kite, so getting a bit of assistance from our jet ski man out there. Yeah, most riders riding hooked in these days with chicken loop, taking advantage of depower, but Top Hat kind of coming from the old school, new school style of riding, prefers to unhook and just kind of use that extension of his body to ride waves.
Yes, he does, Sky.
that was wrapped that one up nicely there.
Yeah. I'm impressed by your knowledge and your oration skills aplenty here we have going on first day of competition. Again, shaking out the cobwebs. Ben Meyer coming at you live with my friend, compadre, competitor, Sky Solbach.
It's great to be back in the booth here, Ben. It's been a little while. Last time we were sitting in the commentary booth together was in freezing cold Ireland. We were taking shelter from the rain, and it's pretty nice to be back in warm Hawaii and yeah, enjoying some sunshine.
I hear that as we look down on our contest zone here. Again, pretty cool that we can land and launch right here in Ho'okipa. As you see on your screen right in front of you here, right to the left of the screen, there's a little sand keyhole that everybody gets to come in and out of. That's where our surfers, windsurfers, pretty much anybody who's doing any sort of water sport here at Ho'okipa enters and exits the water. Up to the right there on that last screen, you saw kind of a big reef shelf, and that's what you find typically downwind. Also at lanes, you kind of have to cross something that looks quite like that as you launch and go out here. So definitely nice to be able to utilize that bit of a sweeter launch, that little keyhole here at Ho'okipa as we are here for the event.
So again, this is the first men's wildcard heat. Christopher Armitage in white, Tiago Candela in green, Top Hat in blue, and Garfield King in the red jersey. Looks like Tiago, taking an early lead here in this heat. Well, not quite early, still just under 5 minutes remaining, but Top Hat will be out there hunting, needs a 4.66, well within his grasp to overtake the lead back from the Brazilian Tiago.
Well, Sky, looks like it's probably averaging, I want to say probably 17, 18 miles an hour out there. Guys on 10s and 12s, it seems, out there, but nice and powered. No one's really struggling to stay upwind. It actually makes the surf pretty clean. You can see the texture on the water out there, but it's not typical Maui strong trade winds that kind of blow the tops off of waves as we go back to live action here with Tiago.
Yeah, it's pretty mellow conditions compared to what they normally are. Normally we're on 7 and maybe even 5 meter kites out here, but live action here, Tiago hooking into this beautiful looking wave. Surfs out here a lot, as I was mentioning before, so really using that knowledge he has of the wave out here.
Nice.
A beautiful snap there from Tiago, and he's going to go ahead and kick out of that one. He's got to be pretty stoked with his start in this heat.
Yeah, I would venture to say that from what we've seen so far, Tiago looks like he's probably solidified at least a movement on to the next round.
And here we have Top Hat hooking into this one, looking for that 4.66. And that just may do it here. See if he can, not quite hitting that closeout section, but still a few minutes remaining in this heat. It'd be interesting to see that last score drop from Tiago.
You see the lines, just look at that out the back. Again, just classic, spectacular Ho'okipa conditions here. Again, everyone just stoked to get this contest up and going in waves like this, Guy, that we should see for most of the week here, or I'm sorry, the remainder of the holding period, at least this size, if not a little bigger, as we move into the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely, and we've talked about it quite a bit on our morning shows over the past 5 or 6 days. There's been no shortage of swell here. These waves have been pumping the whole time. It got into a little bit of a strange pattern, that Kona wind kind of shutting down all trade wind activity here. But today was kind of the transition day. We got down here early. We waited it out, and I think our contest directors, made an excellent call, trying to hold it today. And sure enough, the bubble kind of popped, and the wind filled in, and we're getting this thing underway in classic Hokipa conditions.
See our jet ski operator Hiro-san out there being a hero on the water, no pun intended for that and his name, but bringing in a kite from one of our competitors. Big thanks to our entire lifeguard crew, all of our support crew here again. With the conditions that you're able to get here at Hokipa, it's pretty incredible to have that crew here with us for support.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone coming together and really helping out. And of course, I'd like to say a huge thank you to our sponsors, the County of Maui, Best Kiteboarding, Cabrina Kites, Nash Kites, North Kites, and Ion. And the MKC guys are down there helping us launch and land. That's the Maui kiteboarding community. Huge thanks to those guys, all their volunteers, doing a great job, keeping everyone safe, getting in and off the water. As we see some sets approaching the lineup here, man, the Brazilian once again dropping in on his backhand and not quite liking what he's seeing there.
See it look in the out back, that looks like top hat out the back as we switch back to the inside break here. Tiago again finding something he likes a bit more, but not able to do anything really with that little inside closeout.
Yeah, the wind is still a bit on the light side out there, as you can probably see. Not a whole lot of white caps. These guys on probably 10 and 12 meter kites, so makes the timing of things a little bit difficult. I think Tiago was hoping to get a little bit more pull from his kite there, and kind of got to the lip a little bit late.
So we are just about through this heat. I'm looking out the window, still see green flag, as you see on your screen there. So we are still in the middle of the heat. Looks like so far, Sky, as we said, Tiago out there and charging in this heat and establishing himself early as the guy to beat, that's for sure. Followed closely by Top Hat, and so we switch to live action here.
Yeah, it looks like Top Hat lacing into a nice one there. Beautiful arcing turn there, unhooked. And see if he can get one more nice turn as this thing bowls up through the inside.
Yeah.
And that's a great little wave from Top Hat.
Yeah, that's gonna score okay. It's not, maybe it doesn't quite have the same size that we've seen in a little bit of the heat so far, but getting it as many turns as humanly possible on that wave all the way to the inside.
That's a cool little board Top Hat's riding. Kind of looks like a funky sort of short, wide fish kind of shape. And looks like that thing working really well, carrying him through his turns. And looks like a great board for these light wind conditions.
We see our jet ski heading out there to be in the water in case anybody needs it as we switch back here to live action.
So currently it looks like Tiago in the lead with a 5.67 and a 5.57.
I'm going to say we must have our colors confused here, because I know that's not Garfield there.
Yeah,
Garfield doesn't have that much hair.
Exactly.
So I'm going to venture to say that that's probably Christopher Armitage there. So it looks like we are into the final minute here of this heat. Looks like green flag is down, awaiting the final horn, and unless there was something that we didn't see, Sky, looks like it's probably going to be the Brazilian moving on out of that heat and into the main event.
Yeah, it looks like Top Hat out there searching for one final wave, needing, looks like from what we can see on our screen, a 6.24 to overtake the lead back from Tiago. He's got less than a minute to do it, so we will see if Top Hat's able to secure one more scoring ride before that red flag goes up. And looks like red flag is up. So we've got one heat under our belt here today, Ben. It's certainly great to get this thing going after 5 days of sort of waiting around for the wind. We've still got 4 days remaining in our holding period, and the forecast is looking pretty good for the next few days and the remainder of the holding period here. So it looks like today is the start of action that will continue for the next 4 days.
As we see in front of us, a kite I don't see too often outside of the Dominican Republic, where I currently reside. Pretty cool to see that here. It's a big, huge on the front says "Warning Local," which was originally put on there for the local Dominican kids, so you would know that they were going to be wild and crazy in the shore break there. But looks like that term has made it over here to the Valley Isle.
So here we see John McCabe heading out for his heat. He's going to be coming up in this second men's local wildcard heat. He'll be coming up against Bruno Motorori, Juan Ricci, and Juan Ricci, sorry. And I'll let you do that one, Ben.
Olivier Sauté.
There we go. Beautifully pronounced.
Merci beaucoup.
Oui, oui.
Ouais, je parle un petit peu le français.
That's not bad. You should do a French webcast.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not pretty enough.
And you already shaved your mustache off.
Again, if you're just joining us, we are into the local wildcard heats here. It's 2012 Ho'okipa Kite Surf Pro on the island of Maui. We just completed that first heat, as we said, moving straight into heat number 2 of the men. Before going to heat number 1, the only heat of the women's wildcards to set the stage, the final for the main event, we are going to take a break, step away, and hear a word from our sponsors, and we will be back with you momentarily with more action from the first day of competition. Of men's wild card. I suppose it's round 1, however it's kind of like 1A, something like that, as we try to narrow it down, get our main event set. Looks like we are at yellow flag, about under a minute left until we begin the second heat. There we are. We hear the horn sound to get the second heat underway, Sky. And again, as you said, in the white we have John McCabe, green Bruno Monterori, in the blue Juan Ricci, in the red Olivier Sauté, and these guys all, like we said earlier, just frothing to get out there and kind of show all their local supporters here, friends and family, what they're made of in an event that was going to showcase just these 4 guys for this entire heat.
So it looks like our rider in green there was going for a little turn, kind of got caught by the whitewash. So again, how this is going to work is there's 3 local wildcard spots into the main event. So the top 3 heat scores of these 2 men's wildcard heats will go directly and be seeded into the main men's competition. So Tiago winning that last heat tentatively. We'll wait for official confirmation of that. But that does not necessarily mean that he is into the main event yet. It will still depend on the top wave scores from this heat. If 3 of these guys end up scoring higher than Tiago's heat score, then they will be automatically in.
We just saw John McCabe there with a couple of nice turns before hitting the closeout section and not being able quite to pull that one through, but it's early in the heat again. Just heard the horn sound seconds ago. These guys out on the water for a while, going to be stoked. Again, the lines have been coming in at a fairly consistent basis. It doesn't look like it's going to be too much of a challenge for people to get all of the wave rides, and possibility as we see a nice little off the top there by Juan Ricci.
Yeah, that was a well-timed turn there, that first turn, and just hanging on by his toenails there on that second one. So that's going to be a first wave score there from Juan Ricci. And what a sight to behold out here at Ho'okipa. Only 4 guys on the water out here. Not something we get to see very often, as typically this place is pretty crowded with surfers and windsurfers, and we're really stoked to be able to bring the KSP World Tour here for our World Tour final here.
So we are hoping to go directly into men's round one at the end of the, not this heat, but the next heat, which is the first and only heat of the women's wild card. We do hope to move on directly into round one after, of course, we receive all the scores. You see a nice set rolling in here for Juan Ricci again, living here in Maui from Argentina.
Yeah, really nice looking wave here. Nice first turn. Let's see if he can follow this up.
Setting himself up there. Pretty drawn out bottom turn, but gets himself in the right position, but just not quite able to keep that board with him under his feet.
Oh, and the board kind of going over the falls with him, hopefully not causing any damage. And John McCabe here in the white Lycra, taking a look at this one. A little bit lighter winds than we're used to seeing out here at Ho'okipa, that's for sure. Normally we're on pretty small kites, but the wind's looking really steady, really nice out there at the moment. And these guys have got to be loving having Ho'okipa, the point at Ho'okipa all to themselves.
Nice set of turns there by John. We saw in our foreground there, just for a little bit, Olivier Sauté, who actually had a couple of nice turns as well there. Had two riders on the same wave at the same time there. We'll do our best to switch back and forth as much as possible. Cameraman doing a fantastic job. Sky, I'm super psyched to be able to have this setup here in Maui, as if any of you who tuned in last event in Ireland, that last day that we had, though, was pretty spectacular conditions and a great, so we switch back to live action here. This looks like Bruno Monterori.
So Bruno Monterori here in the green Lycra, just taking a little look at that one, and he's going to kick out and go find a little something else. So if you're just joining us, this is the second heat of the men's local wildcard competition, and there will be one more heat coming up after this, which will be the local women's wildcard competition. These riders will be seated directly into the main event, which will get underway in just about 40 minutes from now.
So Sky, I was saying before that anyone who joined us for the last tour event in Ireland that last day, although pretty victory at sea conditions, it definitely was a challenge to bring you that live action from our commentator booth, based on the rain kind of continuously pelting not only the windows but all of our camera crew as well. They did a great job doing bringing you what they were able to from that condition. But now that we're here, it just makes you appreciate how great it is to have a setup like this.
Yeah, Maui's definitely a really special place, especially this place here at Ho'okipa, as you said in one of the webcasts the other morning. Kind of a natural amphitheater, just kind of built for events like this and spectating. It's amazing to come here and watch the windsurfers and surfers on really windy days. The action is up so close, and you're sort of up on the cliff. You have a bird's eye view of the entire lineup, and our camera crew are sort of scattered around on the cliffs here, and able to capture all angles of all the action out here at Ho'okipa. So just a great venue for an event like this. So men's local wildcard heat number 2 in the white Lycra here. John McCabe, Maui, resident here, dropping into this one, coming around the corner, see if he can find a bit of open face here, and just kind of coming unstuck on that one. Right behind him in the green Lycra, Bruno Motorori. These guys are chasing a spot into the men's main event. So the top 3 heat scores of these 2 men's wildcard heats will go directly into the main draw. So these guys chasing a spot in the main men's ladder.
Yeah, and we saw there on that last wave, you know, sometimes here at Ho'okipa, that inside starts to wall up a bit as we switch back to live action here on the water on that 12 meter. I believe this is Olivier Saute. Nice little off the top there, coming in onto the inside. You know, if you start that high line on the wave and start coming in as that wave, the wave starts to wall up, your speed kind of increases, and if you go for that bottom turn, unless you're in the proper body position, a lot of times it takes a little bit of strength and timing to hold it together off the top there.
Yeah, and a little bit lighter winds out here today than what we're used to, that's for sure. So these riders having to use their kite a lot to sort of generate power, and as the wind picks up, be able to sort of focus more on surfing the wave rather than having to use the kite as much to sort of get around those sections. And it looks like we've got a rider down here on the inside. So it looks like on our live scores here, currently in the lead with a 7.74 heat score total is Juan Ricci in the blue Lycra, followed closely by John McKay with a 6.43 in the white Lycra.
And again, these are as updated as we can possibly get. We will bring them to you. However, they will continue to be unofficial until ratified by all of our judges and head judges as we switch back here to live action in the green. Bruno Monterori getting a share of waves out there today, Sky.
Yeah, he's been catching a lot of waves. Let's see what he can do with this one. Just sort of a series of check turns there, sort of waiting for a little bit of something on the inside, not quite able to string it together there. So I'm not sure if that's going to factor in too much. He's chasing a pretty big score at the moment to overtake his fellow competitors out there. In that first heat, we saw Tiago Candelat from Brazil tentatively winning that heat over Top Hat. I believe he had a score somewhere in the 11 to 12 point range, so he's looking pretty good to secure his spot into the main competition out here, Ben.
Yeah, and again, as we said, wait for those to be official. Don't want to officially announce anything until we have that as a ratified score as we go back. 2 riders on waves at the same time here. Juan Ricci, Olivier in the foreground, switching back to Juan.
Yeah, big turn there, and kind of just catching a rail and going over the handlebars on that one.
Yeah, looks like a little bit too much power as it came down into that bottom turn there to hold it together to come out of that standing up.
So we'd like to say a huge thank you to all of our sponsors and supporters here. Big thank you to the County of Maui for their support in this World Tour event here, the World Tour Finals at Ho'okipa Beach Park. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to Best Kiteboarding, Cabrina, Nash, North, and Ion Essentials as well. And of course the MKC, we see Hero out there on the ski, run and rescue. Yeah, the MKC volunteering down here on the beach for us, landing and launching kites, and just like to say a huge thank you to those guys for all of their support and helping us put on this World Tour event here at Ho'okipa Beach Park.
Definitely, and pivotal here on island for keeping the education high on where visitors can and can't go, and really doing a fantastic job in organizing the local community and supporting events like this and many other events that take place in Maui the year round. As you see on the screen in front of you, line sets lining up as we go out, switching back in our foreground here in the green. Looks like Bruno Monterori again on the insides.
That thing kind of running away from him, but out the back here, it looks like in the blue jersey, Juan Ricci once again. That's white. That's John McCabe, and these lines just stacked here across the lineup at Ho'okipa. Here in the red jersey is Olivier Saute. and a little bit of a closeout there. So huge thank you to everyone for joining us live on the web and here live at Ho'okipa Beach Park. This is day 6 of our 10-day holding period here for the KSP Kitesurf Pro Ho'okipa 2012.
Looks like we have Juan Ricci turning on an outside wave in the set. This thing starts walling up, crumbling a little bit there in the beginning. See if it doesn't open up for him here. But on the inside, a nice little off the top hack.
Yeah, really nice timing there from Juan Ricci, and just one big turn on that wave. Looks like he is still in the lead right now with a 7.74 heat score total. We will wait for our scores to update.
We are still at green flag. Heat winding down for sure. The guys have been out there for long enough now to have gotten their feet wet a little bit, and now find themselves kind of in crunch time, trying to chase the leaders here. Which, as you said, Sky, looks like Juan Ricci out there again, unofficially the leader of this heat, trying to put himself in contention to make it through to the main event, which we will be going into immediately following the next heat, which will be women's round 1 of the wild card, which is the only heat of that round. So. We'll be going to that momentarily after finishing the second heat of men's wildcard.
So scores just updating here. Looks like Juan Ricci just improved his situation slightly, now sitting in the lead with an 8.47. Olivier Sauté, however, dropping a 5.27 on one of his last scoring rides there, and he will now be needing a 3.2 to overtake the lead from Juan Ricci.
We check out on your screen here our contest area. Again, just a fantastic venue to host an event. It's like a natural amphitheater, and it's just spectacular. You know, not only here down on the event site that we're looking at, but also the vantage point that we sit up here in our commentary booth, Sky, on the cliff up above the point. There's not many better places on earth to sit and watch wind sports, sit and watch any surf event that's going on out here. Tons of people, when there's waves breaking on the island here, stopping in town, getting their coffee, coming down and sitting on the point, and basically just being mesmerized by not only the natural beauty of this place and the waves, but also the skill and talent of everybody that's out in the water, both kiting, windsurfing, surfing, for what this beach is used for on a daily basis. We just heard the horn for the finish of the heat there. Red flag is up again, giving us our transition period into the next heat, which will be women's first heat of the wild card, coming at you live.
And this is going to be a pretty stacked heat, Ben. Taking a look at some of these names in the women's local wild card heat here, we've got Kalia Aguera, daughter of a pretty well-known waterman around these parts, Alex Aguera. She'll be coming up against Tomoko Okazaki from Japan, who's been living in Maui for a number of years. She's a regular fixture out at lanes in Ho'okipa, as well as Muna White coming from the island of Oahu. She has been absolutely ripping, and I can't wait to see her coming up in this heat. I've heard some great things about her riding, and of course Raquel Lima, also a local Maui resident. She is an
Brazilian transplant here to the island of Maui.
Exactly, so that's going to be a very stacked women's local wildcard heat.
But for the moment, let's throw it down to our eyes and ears on the beach. Christine Buza standing by with our winner from that first men's wild card heat. Christine?
Thanks a lot, Ben. Here I am with Tiago, our first heat winner of the event, of the local wildcard qualifier. Tiago, how are you feeling after this heat and after winning your heat?
Feeling good. So light, we are wondering if you're gonna have at the heat. To be here.
Well, congratulations. We are all super stoked that we finally got the event underway. And I guess all you guys, you local riders especially, you're really used to the strong Maui winds. So having the light winds is obviously probably a bit more challenging for you than for some of the KSP riders. But after the few days of no winds, I think we're all quite stoked that the wind is finally back. What do you think about the conditions for the next few days or the forecast?
On a 12, I say today, hey Dave, can you firm?
Alright, so a little bit of a audio transmission issue down there for Tiago's interview. We'll try to finish that up with him as soon as we can, but in the meantime we do have that third wildcard heat coming up. This is going to be the one and only women's local wildcard heat. Kalia Agera coming up against Tomoko Okazaki, Muna White, and Raquel Lima. It's going to be quite a stacked heat and beautiful conditions on a beautiful sunny day here on the North Shore of Maui, Hawaii. And this is our first day of action here from the 2012 Hokipa Kite Surf Pro. We waited around a little bit for conditions to improve throughout the morning. Weren't sure if it was actually going to happen. And finally that thermal trade wind got pulled through the valley here, and conditions are absolutely stunning out there at the moment, and we will be getting this next women's heat underway here shortly. So tentatively, and however this is not confirmed, it looks like Olivier Sauté taking the heat win in that last heat with a 9.1. Just kind of making a comeback there in the dying minutes over Juan Ricci with an 8.47. However, that is not confirmed, so we will wait to get confirmed scores and update you with those as soon as we can. Meanwhile, this next women's heat, the first women's heat, the women's local wildcard, the one and only, is underway right now. So coming up in this next heat, we've got Kalia Agera, local Maui resident, and Tomoko Okazaki, Muna White from Oahu, and Brazilian transplant Raquel Lima. This is going to be quite a stacked women's heat out here, Ben.
Yeah, all these girls absolutely ripping. All have quite a bit of experience. Tomoko Okazaki especially, if it's windy and there's a wave breaking, you'll see her at lanes, if not sneaking her way up to Hokipa. Has tons of knowledge here in the...
Looks like drawing first blood there is Kalia Agera going for a nice snap and just kind of getting warmed up. And here Tomoko Okazaki in the green. A nice little wave here and fires off a couple of turns.
Hot action right off the bat here of this heat. This looks to be Muna White taking a look at this one, not liking what she sees the first half, but trying to, she's going to kick out the back of that one. Again, these girls out there trying to shake out the jitters a little bit here in the opening moments of this heat. Again, as I was saying, Tomoko Okazaki spends tons of time out here. Again, if there's wind, if there's wave breaking, then you'll see her kite in the air, absolutely. So going to be bringing tons of local knowledge to this heat, and definitely probably one of the favorites to take this heat. But all these girls out there just absolutely ripping, and it'll be fun to see how this heat closes up.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that these girls have been out here warming up surfing over the last few days. Of course, we haven't had any wind. I saw Muna out paddling a couple days ago. Yesterday had a really fun surf out there. So coming from Oahu, I don't think she spent that much time out here at Hokipa, but definitely spending the last week or so that she's been here familiarizing herself with the breakout here at Hokipa, dropping into this wave right now in the blue jersey. And a nice first turn there for Muna. Let's see what else this wave has to offer. Another second turn here, and that's going to be a great opening score. Big hack there for Muna. Just beautiful timing and keeping that tension in her lines. And that is going to be a great score for Muna White.
Yeah, that's going to be a great scoring wave. Super fluid style, that off the top, just mimicking surfing to the tee. That's what the judges are looking for out here. Wave utilization, being able to take what is on offer out there and try to make it look like there isn't a kite pulling him around. Utilizing the waveform and really showcasing the brilliant combination that we have with nowadays in kite surfing of being able to utilize that kite, obviously, but trying to get as close as possible to making this look like surfing.
In the white lycra here, dropping in Kalia Agera, going for a nice little turn there, just doing well to stick with that one. And another second turn there on the inside for Kalia. Kicking out just in front of the rocks. I believe I saw my parents there walk through the screen, Ben.
I believe so. It was Carol Solbach.
They're out here in Maui for the first time. Definitely been enjoying their stay so far. It's been beautiful weather. They've been touring around the island and seeing all the beautiful sights that Maui has to offer.
Again, looking out the back here, see a little bit of a set coming in. Not of too much size. Switch back to live action. Right in front of you here. Looks like this is Muna White again.
That fluid, beautiful style, not quite sticking that turn. Chasing a little bit of a smaller inside wave there. And we will wait for those scores to drop for Muna and update you with those as soon as we can.
Sky, happy to see that this morning we had maybe an hour and a half or two of waiting around where we didn't quite know if that cloud that was above our head was going to burn off and allow the wind to come in significantly enough to start this event. But boy, it seemed like there was about a 15-minute window there where it just looked like it was going to clear off and get windy. And sure enough, within a pretty short time period, it was game on here. I'm just glad to be looking out there and being able to get the riders out there and start utilizing the conditions that we've been seeing over the last few days.
Yeah, Maui's pretty amazing when it comes to wind. You know, all it really needs is that bit of northeasterly component, and the valley just sort of funnels the wind through, as we see a rider in green here, Tomoko Okazaki, and a lot of speed, and looks like this thing is going to close out on her as she straightens out into the flats there. And Muna White searching for a wave out the back there. Seen some beautiful waves ridden so far in this heat by Muna White. This is her first time competing in a World Tour competition, so she's chasing that wild card spot into the women's main event.
And I believe it's also officially Kiahi Diaboides' girlfriend there on the water. He's going to be down there pumping his fists, rooting for her.
There you go. You just made it official, Ben.
It's official. If it wasn't official, it's official now. You see in the red, Raquel Lima kind of closing out there on the inside, switching back over to Muna here again on the outside. What a solid, fluid technique, actually, Sky. First time you and I get a chance to watch her today, and man, she's been impressive so far in this heat, Sky.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot about Muna. Obviously, you know, she's been over on Oahu, and I've heard a lot of guys say how hard she's ripping, and it's great to see her here. This is the first time I've actually seen her kite live and in person. So,
have you seen her on tape delay?
I have not.
So we see in the foreground on your screen here, Tomoko Okazaki taking a look at this one, seeing what's going to offer up here on the inside. Looks like it's going to give a little bit of an open face for her to work with as it becomes a bit more critical, working its way towards shore. Here at the point at Ho'okipa, nice little off the top for Tomoko. See if she can't hook a few more turns together. Looks like it's going to peter out on her a little bit on the inside and kick out and head back out to take advantage of another couple of waves here, about a little bit more than midway through this heat.
So we do have official scores from that first men's local wild card. So we do have the confirmed 3 men's riders who are going to take those local wild card spots, and those 3 men are Tiago Candelat, Olivier Sauté, and Top Hat. So congratulations to you guys. You are directly into the main men's event, main competition, which will get underway shortly here with men's Heat 1, Round 1, directly following this women's local wildcard heat. But live action right now out there on the water, Ben, in the blue jersey, Muna White. We've seen a lot of her in this heat so far. Big turn there, pulling this thing through the inside, coming around the corner. Another nice snap there in the lip, and holding it together nicely. And that's going to be another great scoring wave for Muna.
Switching back to Raquel again, looking like that one closed out a bit on her on the inside. Tomoko on a good size one on the outside, getting up in that critical section of the wave face. Let's see what this will open up for her a bit on the inside. Walling up there a bit.
Yeah, carrying a lot of speed through the inside.
Kind of outruns that one a little bit.
And kick out into the channel there in front of the rocks. And time winding down in this women's heat. Current scores have Muna White in the lead, just updating. Muna sitting in first place with a 7 and a 6, so a 13-point heat score total. Followed by Kalia Agera, who we see here on this wave in the white lycra. Doing a layback snap there and kind of catching an edge and going over the front. So Kalia Agera currently with a 7.33 heat score total, followed in third place by Tomoko Okazaki.
And if I'm not mistaken, Sky, that 13 that's posted by Muna White so far, the highest heat score we've seen of the day, men or women.
Yeah, just ripping out there as we expected.
Again, she's on the screen here. No shortage of waves taken by Muna White, establishing herself perhaps as a kind of a dark horse here for the main event, Sky. Based on how she's been riding here this early in the wild card, I sure wouldn't want to have her in the draw coming up as the women's first rounds start here later this afternoon.
So cruising into another beautiful afternoon here at Ho'okipa Beach Park, just about 3 o'clock in the afternoon here on day 6 of our 10-day holding period here of the 2012 Ho'okipa Kite Surf Pro. And we're just about to wrap up these local wildcard heats and get right into what we've all been waiting for.
All right, back with you. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We had a little bit of an internet interruption. We are coming at you live from Ho'okipa Beach Park, and we are just about to begin men's heat 1, round 1. And for the moment, we are going to throw this down to Christine Buza on standing by with previous heat winner. Let's throw this down to Christine on the beach. Take it. Looks like we were unable to establish audio down with the interviewer. Hopefully we'll have a chance to catch up a little bit later. But in the meantime, we are live men's round 1, heat 1. We find ourselves with 3 men on the water in this event. I'm sorry, in this heat. In the white, Sebastian Ribeiro, the Brazilian Ripper, currently world number 3. We also have Bastien Ballard from France in the green, and Play-In, who won the first wild card heat, Thiago Candelot, in the blue in this heat. So we are underway. Men's round 1, heat 1 of the main event. Should be a great main event. Again, World Tour on the line, championship on the line. I know a lot of bragging rights here for being able to win at Ho'okipa. Such a strong local community. I'm sure all of the wild cards and the local riders here that we have that are in the main event all ready to get out there, show their friends and family what they're made of on spectacular conditions today. Again, awaiting official results out of that final heat that we saw previously from the women's wild card to see who will be representing in the main event. But again, the main event is set and just awaiting official word as we see Sebastian Ribeiro, the Brazilian here, again, world number 3 on the wave. Actually riding forehand here, which is Mauritius, the last event. He was also third on as we see him. Not able to quite make that happen back into the face and drop back in, but be interesting to see. He has such a fluid and pretty remarkable and recognizable backside riding style. It'll be interesting to see him on his forehand, as the last big wave contest that we had in Mauritius saw him primarily riding or entirely riding backside. So it'll be interesting to see the difference here on his forehand. Again, coming from a really strong surfing background, and as I said earlier, world number 3. It'll be great to see him. I know he's feeling good, but a little bit nervous. Been fighting a bit of a flu the last few days, so I'm sure his energy is zapped a little bit. So I'm sure he'd be happy to get out of this first round with a win and be able to skip a few rounds and save a little bit of energy and perhaps be able to pack his stuff up for the day and go home and rest before he has to go again. So he's going to be out there trying to, again, as we said, winner of this heat bypasses both rounds 2 and 3 directly into round 4, saving some time and energy. I know all these guys out there gunning for it, as we see in the foreground here. Thiago Candelot was a Play-In, won the first wild card heat. Early scores dropping in this heat have Tiago Canelo on top with a 4.83, Sebastian Ribeiro 3.5. Again, that just being updated as we speak. Again, putting Tiago in first, Sebastian Ballard in third as we go to live action on your screen in front of you. That is Sebastian Ribeiro hooking in, again, a really strong, fluid style. And again, for me, it's super exciting to see him riding on his forehand here, and if he can carry the same power that we've gotten used to of that backhand that we've seen the last few events. And based on what we've seen so far, it looks like that is definitely the case as we see Tiago here in the blue, again coming off the water. Oh, just a nice, powerful backside off the top. And again, maybe bringing a little bit of momentum coming in from the. He's already had his 15 minutes on the water, 20 minutes on the water, a bit warmed up. Other riders coming out cold. We'll see if he can't utilize that momentum a bit to his advantage. So we are heat 1 again, round 1 of the men. Main event underway. This is what we've been waiting for. Day 6 before we were able to run a single heat. But man, it looks like the forecast for the remainder of the holding period looks pretty spectacular. We got a pretty good waves on offer today. And I know all the riders here, though, have been having a blast surfing the last few days. Definitely stoked to be out there on the water, getting this contest underway, get a few of those jitters out here in the first opening heats. And as we've alluded to several times over the last week on our shows here in the morning, a lot of riders here in contention for that overall world championship. I believe a grand total on the men's side of 7 different riders within striking distance. Obviously, as you get further down that list in the rankings, some of those guys need to have some things go their way. They need some of the points leaders to go down fairly early in the competition in order to have a shot. But it's pretty cool to have, when you come down to the very end of the tour season, really a bunch of people in contention to take home that top spot. And in addition, on the women's side, we have much the same, where there's a grouping of riders at the top, all vying to take home that overall world championship tour crown here for 2012. We see a few lines rolling in on the horizon. Not the biggest sets we've seen of the day, but that does look like Sebastian Ribeiro, the Brazilian who's been on fire so far, hooking in to this one. He's going to take a look and see what's on offer. Getting a nice open face turn in there, waiting for it to become a bit more critical on the inside. Nice little powerful top to bottom. Going down there a bit on the inside, but linking a few turns together. Knowing Sebastian, he's going to want to increase that score a little bit going forward, as he's typically one that starts pretty strong in a heat and carries it through. Again, all of these riders, it's interesting to see what some of the these riders are going to do as far as trying to plan the way that their heat is going to go. Some guys like to really get out there and get a few waves under their belt right away as fast as possible. Some guys kind of like to sit back a little bit and really pick their waves correctly, as we see in our foreground here. Tiago looks like he's into a good one here on the inside, and showcasing that nice fluid backside style, really hooking right back into the pocket on those 2 turns, nice and smooth, really transferring that bottom to top turn power, and that should be a pretty good scoring wave for him. And again, as we wait for scores to drop, barring that last one, probably not included in the scores that we see so far, but it looks like Sebastian Ribeiro with a 10.52 wave score, counting a 3.5 and a 7, and Tiago Canelo in second place with an 8.5 total. scoring a 4.83 and a 3.67 as we see that updated. Sebastian increasing his lead a little bit more, 12.33 now for a two-wave score for Sebastian to Thiago Candelo's 8.5, and Bastian Ballard in at a 5.27, chasing the blue and the white jerseys of Thiago and Sebastian. So Sebastian into this heat, kind of solidifying himself a bit as the guy to catch on the in this heat so far. 12.33 again, as I said, really forcing Thiago to throw out a 7.5 wave score in order to overtake the lead from Ribeiro. Definitely doesn't look like it's out of Thiago's reach in order to do that, and of course Bastian Ballard in third in the green, needing a bit of a combo in order to overtake the lead there. We are still at green flag. Looks like we probably have 5-6 minutes left in this heat. Plenty of time for a little bit of a shake-up for our competitors on the water right now, in between sets, kind of checking it out. Sets have been relatively consistent all day long. As we see Sebastian here with Thiago in the foreground, Sebastian in the background. Looks like they both are on a set wave that they're going to come in, take a look at on the inside. Do our best to keep them both in the screen. We'll switch to Thiago first. Looks like a nice one on the inside here if he can't stay in that pocket. Little bit of a fin hiccup there, but back in the face. Can't quite stay in there. Looked like he tripped over the back part of his fin there on his top turn, and it slowed him down a little bit as we see his kite in the water there. If you are just joining us, this is Heat 1 of Round 1 of the men here at the 2012 Ho'okipa Kite Surf Pro live action. Sebastian Ribeiro, just an insane off the top, back into the critical section, back into that solid, powerful bottom turn, riding that whitewash in onto the inside, switching back over in the green. That is Bastian Ballard. Hooking into one on the inside, hoping that wall's up for him, but doesn't look like it's going to do anything. But going back to that last wave, Sebastian, that looks like perhaps his best scoring wave of this heat so far. Again, currently the leader, Thiago, increasing his situation, bettering it a little bit with a two-wave total of 9.4. However, still trailing Sebastian Ribeiro. And my guess is Sebastian putting up a better score than his backup wave, which is a 5.33 at the moment. My guess is that last wave we just saw is going to bump up a little bit and probably be closer into that 7-point range, which is what his highest scoring wave so far is of this heat, probably putting him up there in the low teens for a two-wave total. But again, we'll wait to see those scores as they drop. We'll do our best to give them to you as we get them. Our judges' booth sitting right below the commentary booth. Perfect location for all of the judges to be able to see everything that's going on, and as they tabulate and ratify all of the wave scores, that will be showing up here on the desk for us to bring it straight to you viewing at home and here on Ho'okipa Beach Parks. We'll do our best to keep you abreast on the situation. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, red flag ending heat number 1, round 1. As I thought, Sebastian Ybarro increasing his situation there on that last wave we saw, scored 7.93, dropping along with a 7.0 backup score, putting Sebastian's two-wave score at an unofficial 14.93. Again, we will wait for scores to officially drop, but barring something that I didn't see out there, looks like Sebastian Ybarro will be passing on directly into round 4, bypassing rounds 2 and 3, and I'm sure he'll be stoked about that, save some energy, be able to pack up his stuff probably for the day. Again, we'll see, but my guess is that he's probably done for the day as he becomes the first rider to advance directly into round 4. Again, Sebastian, the world number 3, needs a few things to go his way in order to take home the overall Tour Championship. However, sitting in 3rd position, not too impossible for that to happen. So can't wait to see what the rest of the day has to bring. Again, we're moving directly into Heat 2 of men's round 1. But in the meantime, we are going to head down to the beach, our eyes and ears, with Christine Buza, standing by with winner of women's wild card and impressive, eye-opening riding style out there, Muna White. Let's go down to you, Christine.
Muna is a pretty happy heat winner there. Muna, you probably don't even know that yet, but you had the highest heat score of the entire event so far. Higher heat scores than the men in their round. How are you feeling about this?
Good. It was really fun. Yeah, it was fun. The waves were really clean. It was nice. The wind was good. That was perfect on my 9. I had a little trouble getting out, but once I was out there, it was just good.
Yeah, once you were out there, you were just ripping it, and you had one wave after the other. It looked like you've been riding here forever. It looked like it was your home spot. Picked the best set waves for sure, and just made the guys look bad. But now moving on into the main event, I think you could definitely be making it very far in this event. What are your goals, and well, what would be your dreams in this event here? Well, I think you might have good chances, so good luck with that. I can't wait for your next heat. It's really fun to watch you, and hopefully you'll go far. You want to say a few words to your family and friends on Oahu?
Okay. I guess I'd like to thank my dad for everything, taking me kiting, teaching me, and just my parents for everything.
Sounds great. Hello to the parents, and hello to everyone else out there, and back to Ben in the commentary booth.
Back with more action here from the 2012 Ho'okipa Kite Surf Pro. We are into men's round 1, heat number 2, coming at you in the forefront, in the white, Mitu Monteiro, the Cape Verdean, up on a wave, and definitely a tour favorite coming into this year. Had a few things not go quite right for him on the tour event so far, but again, one of those guys that you have to mention as you go through favorites for almost any event you go to. The guy's comfortable in big waves, small waves. He rides switch, he rides backside, he can pretty much do everything. He is coming up against, in green, Sky Solbach, the American out there residing in Hawaii at the moment, and also in the blue, Sean Richmond, again a local Maui boy, spent pretty much the better part of his life here on the north shore of Maui in the water. Had the pleasure to hang out with Sean quite a bit as he was growing up, and classy dude, and for sure stoked to be out here again in Ho'okipa after a pretty large hiatus between events being held here right off the point at Ho'okipa. So I'm sure stoked to be back on the water in the contest format again. It's Mitu Monteiro in the white, Sky Solbach in the green, and Sean Richmond in the blue. Should be an exciting heat to watch. All these guys capable of some pretty big things on any given day. And as we get this heat going, all these guys out in the water for the first time today, as we saw in the last heat. Right off the bat, Tiago Candelo, it looked like he had a little bit of an advantage, kind of carrying some momentum into the heat. But Sebastian Ribeiro, the world number 3, proving a bit too much for him overall, as we do have an official heat winner of that heat 1, as I suspected, Sebastian Ribeiro. As we see Mitu Monteiro not quite able to get himself in the right position there. Uncharacteristically, Mitu going down on the first 2 waves that he has attempted. Again, probably trying to feel this place out. The riders haven't had too much time to get out here and train, as it hasn't been windy at all in the last 5 days. Here we are on day 6, first day of wind for the event. Guys that got out here and were able to ride a little bit in the location in the week leading up to the event. However, most of that was done at the break, just a little bit downwind at lanes. So being able to ride here at Ho'okipa proper. These guys, especially with only 4 people on the water right now, again in the early moments of the heat, just trying to get their bearings and figure out exactly what it's going to take to be able to advance out of this heat. Again, heat winner advancing directly into round number 4, but second and third place not out of it. They do get another chance to make their way back into contention for title, having to go through rounds 2 and 3, the knockout rounds. Those are the win or go home heats. But for the moment, we are in heat number 2, round number 1 of the men. As we switch to live action, this looks like Sean Richmond here in front of us, one of the 2 Richmond brothers that will be competing. Nice little off the top, being able to hold it together. Lots of speed and power around the edge there. Being able to stay right in the pocket, Sean, and back in there. This one's going to be a good scoring wave for him. He's going to be happy with that one right off the bat. Again, it's interesting to see how the plans of all the competitors here. A lot of guys want to get out there, get on the board early, so they can establish, if not a great wave score, at least a backup score as they work their way through the heats. And Mitu actually. Maybe a little bit the opposite of that, is he kind of likes to sit back and wait and pick off the waves he thinks are going to be the highest scoring ones, and kind of let the ones that might be medium or backup wave scores pass. And it'll be interesting to see which strategy pays off here in the end, as both have their pluses and minuses, that's for sure. So we see in our foreground here, Sky Solbach sussing out the situation. Looks like, unless he can catch this one in front of him, he's probably not going to like what he sees on the inside here, but we'll see if something walls up for him here on the inside, pumping a little bit of extra power out there. Looks like he's going to turn himself around on that one and head back out. Sky, of course, a compadre here in the commentator booth when he's not on the water. Looks like the sets have gotten a bit more few and far between as the afternoons wore on a little bit here. Still plenty of wave, plenty of size on offer, but it looks like the tide may be flattening out the sets a little bit, but still plenty of waves out in front of us here in great conditions. A little bit lighter wind than usual here at Ho'okipa, but again, as we talked about a little bit earlier, that usually keeps that wave face a little bit smoother for these guys. So if they can get in the proper positioning, it should be some nice smooth open faces for these guys to attack. As we see Sky here pulling out the back of that one, switching back over to Me Too. Looks like it's going to take a look and drop in on this one on the inside. Racing around the edge there, trying to get up off. He's going to be able to make it back into this one as it starts to wall up. Kind of crumbly. Probably wasn't exactly what Me Too wanted out of that wave. He would have preferred it to stay held up a little bit more than it was, but that will definitely score him on the board. But my guess is, knowing Me Too, he's going to want to erase that score as quickly as possible with a higher scoring effort here in the coming minutes of the heat, as we see Sky Solbach in the foreground here, picking up speed down the face. This looks like it's going to open up for him. Nice little vertical off the top there, hooking it back in, connecting it to a second turn on the inside. Medium-sized wave here, but definitely a wave that you got a couple of solid turns on. Try to switch it back over to Sean. Looks like missed the first part of that wave, but all three competitors there getting a wave on that set, as we have all of them probably working their way back out as we work our way towards midpoint of this heat. Looks like we are going to have a postponement flag raised right now. We are going to step away for a moment and be back with you momentarily with an update on what is going on out there concerning conditions. So be back in one moment, hopefully with more action from day 6 here at the 2012 Ho'okipa Kite Surf Pro.
I'm going to try to get the bus.
Who? Okay. Good, how are you? Ladies and gentlemen, looks like we are in a slight postponement of the event. Looked like a little bit of a failing wind condition out there. We are at about 3:36 local time here in the afternoon, so we're going to wait and see if a little bit more wind swings back in. I'm awaiting official word for exactly what the call is going to be, but that's what I'm guessing is going to happen here for the interim. But while we wait and see what that call is and what the plan is for the immediate future, let's throw it down to Christine Buza standing by with Heat 1 winner and world number 3 Sebastian Ribeiro. Christine, down to you.
We're standing here with Sebastian Ribeiro once again. Sebastian, nice to see you riding on your front side. How does it feel to be out here on Okipa and finally being able to show what you can do on your natural stance?
I feel good. I like to ride front side, and I train a lot because I like to do turns, radical turns, and this wave is so good. The wave is not really, but the wave is good today.
Yeah, and you made it look really good too. It was a pleasure to watch you ride and grip the waves apart here. But you were saying, well, and I know also you were actually sick the last few days. You were not feeling well at all, just lying in bed, and you came back strong, it seems like. Do you feel totally recovered, or you're still suffering a bit from your illness?
Yeah, I was sick in the last 3 days, and I didn't so good in this heat because I don't know, my body's so tired, and I tried to do the best, but I couldn't do.
Well, I think your best here, even with your body not being its normal strong, you've done enough. You made it into the 4th round, so you are actually the heat winner. You're our first heat winner in the main event. Congratulations to that, and hopefully you will have a little bit more time now to recover for your next heat. Congratulations once again, and if you want to say a few words to your people in Brazil, then feel welcome to do that now.
Pra galera do Brasil, eu fiquei doente, fiquei com amidalite durante 3 dias, fiquei o dia inteiro em casa assistindo filme e tentando melhorar. Na bateria eu tava um pouco cansado, meu corpo tava cansado, tava mal, mas é isso aí, passamos para a próxima bateria.
Exactly. Thanks a lot, Sebastian, and back to Ben in the commentary booth.
All right, great to hear from Sebastian Ribeiro, heat winner of heat number 1 of men's round 1, a class act all around, world number 3, again in contention for taking home the 2012 overall KSP World Tour victory. Again, making his first steps into making that happen. And as far as I can see, with mathematically, I believe that if one of the top 3 guys, that being Ayrton Cozzolino and Patry McLaughlin and Sebastian Ribeiro, whoever wins of those 3, I believe, will win the overall championship. So all 3 of those top guys kind of masters of their own destiny, in that if they go home the champion of this event at Ho'okipa, they will also be taking home the championship overall for the tour. Again, some other guys in contention that are ranked a bit lower than those 3 and are also able to become the 2012 world champions. However, they need a little bit more help. They're not guaranteed victory just by one of the top 3 guys, or just by winning the event. They need some of the top 3 guys to start losing in the earlier rounds. But we have plenty of more action to get to as this day and as the contest progresses. We are in a holding pattern right now. That last heat was postponed, was abandoned. So we are going to step away momentarily. We're going to stay live with you here, but we're going to step away momentarily and keep you up to date as soon as we know more on exactly when they plan on restarting this heat or any other updates that we may have during the day. So please stay tuned. Again, we'll be updating you as soon as we know more here, and hopefully be underway with more round 1 action from the 2012 Ho'okipa Kite Surf Pro.
right, well, we just heard our 4 p.m. update here from our contest director and head judge. Competition has been called off for today, day 6 of the 2012 Ho'okipa Kitesurf Pro here on Maui, and next riders meeting will be tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. We did manage to finish all of those wildcard heats, so getting a few heats under our belt today and getting this thing off to a start. Looking at an improving forecast over the next few days. Tomorrow should be pretty windy. We're going to have an early riders meeting, 9 a.m., so please tune in to hear that live call tomorrow for day 7.
Yeah, again, not too unsuccessful of a day, as you said, Sky, getting through all of those heats for the qualification into the main event and getting through that men's heat 1 of round 1. You were out there for that second heat that did get postponed. What are your thoughts about the conditions out there in the waning moments of the day?
Yeah, I mean, I took out my biggest kite and my biggest board knowing that it was going to be pretty light, and got off the beach and went out, and kind of when I turned around to sort of tack and come back into the competition zone, I realized the wind was dropping pretty rapidly and spent most of the heat just trying to get up into the competition zone. So I was pretty stoked that they called it, because I definitely didn't have enough wind in that heat. So I think, I think it was a pretty good call, and I can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be stronger wind. We still have 3 days remaining in the waiting period, and we can go straight into, we're already into men's round 1, and we can just roll straight through all those heats tomorrow, hopefully get an early start.
Yeah, we do have some forecast tables and models open on the computers in front of us here, and it does look like the wind direction may be going a little bit more east-southeast, but not too much of a south component in it, actually. Based on my experience here on the island of Maui, my guess is tomorrow still looks pretty solid. It does look like it's probably going to be stronger in the afternoon. However, a couple of the models show even as early as tomorrow morning being pretty strong. So again, we'll just have to see what tomorrow brings, but it looks as if the next few days into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday looks like a pretty typical trade wind pattern, and it should be a bit stronger pretty much for the whole day. So looks like ample time to be able to finish the event. However, you never want to leave wind to find wind, so good thing we got a few heats out underway today, and looking for an early possible start tomorrow. Not usual for it to be windy tomorrow by 9 a.m., but word on the beach is that that will actually be a first riders meeting with a possible start not too long after that. Again, would be uncommon if that happened tomorrow, but stranger things have happened, and if it's windy early tomorrow morning, no doubt we will be getting this contest underway right away.
Yeah, so fingers crossed for better, stronger wind conditions tomorrow. Looks like the swell is going to hang around. This is sort of the tail end of a fading northwest swell, but we should have definitely great waves throughout the day tomorrow, and actually throughout the rest of the holding period, and coming in towards the end, final day, looks like we will just have a new swell filling in then as well. So looking at a great forecast for the next few days. I have to correct myself, we actually have 4 full days left in our waiting period, not 3 as I just mentioned before. I'm not that well known for my math skills. But yeah, we're looking at a great forecast and can't wait for better conditions tomorrow.
So thanks for tuning in with us today. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast, though short it was. We'll be looking to start this thing off as early as possible tomorrow, and more than likely every day after that, until we are able to crown not only the 2012 Ho'okipa Kitesurf Pro champion, but also the overall KSP 2012 World Tour champion. This is what we were here for right from the beginning, Sky. It's cool to be able to have it come down to this last event here in Maui, as we've been talking about all year long. Sort of everybody's been waiting for this one, and now again, day 6 is a wrap here, winding down the end of the holding period, and with that, the end of the entire tour in and of itself. So pretty cool that it's coming down here to the finals, Sky, and looks as if we're going to get some great conditions to finish this thing out.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what we've all been waiting for, as you said. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We will be back here with you live from Ho'okipa Beach Park tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Have a good evening, morning, afternoon, depending on where you are in the world, and we will see you back here tomorrow morning in Maui.